I'm sorry, but $14,000 for what?
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my co-host over here, the Grease, and we're bringing you the news that you can use. Say hello, Grease.
I like that. I usually say the details are fuzzy, but I like that.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's very Will. Mine is mine, and yours is yours.
All right, we got some breaking news for you. This is in relation to a new law that was signed into effect in Kentucky in April of this year, House Bill 439. And here's the headline from the New York Times. Kentucky auction of confiscated alcohol includes rare bourbon bottles. So, Grease, you remember there's been some controversy.
Yes.
ABC confiscating bottles, maybe from some stores that are well known. But there's this new law that allows the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control to hold auctions to sell off those bottles. The first auction is going on now. I actually signed up to look through the bidding.
I know you did, and you were like, Grease, come here.
Yeah, I mean, you
You're
come
like,
look at it.
I got something juicy.
If you're interested, you can bid on whiskey until midnight on December 11th. Basically, this new state law allows the department the authority to auction off impounded alcohol once a criminal or administrative case has been completed. There's 32 bottles up for sale currently. Bottles available for bidding. There's some interesting stuff. There's a vintage Old Fitzgerald Counties of Ireland porcelain decanter from the 70s. Some old Rip Van Winkles, some Blantons, some exports, some have like the Japanese labels on it, and quite a few other things we'll get into. But they say the proceeds will raise money for the Alcohol Wellness and Responsibility Education Aware Corporation, which provides grants to Kentucky high schools, colleges, universities, and outside organizations to support substance abuse programs. So
it's like the lottery, but for alcohol. Like the
lottery, except for where they're not
subsidy?
just, like taking your money because you decide to give it. These are
that's
confiscated bottles.
That's
now,
fair. Government overreach is what you're saying.
Aware, the Alcohol Wellness and Responsibility Education Corporation is a government program. So it sounds almost like it's a third-party nonprofit, but it's a government initiative. So it's not
okay.
The word corporation there, as you would say, details are fuzzy, makes it sound like it's maybe a third party that they raise the money and give to as a grant, but no, it's a government organization. I have a lot of problems with it.
Okay. Can we just say, for one thing, I need to know something right now. Do we know where these bottles came from? Were those acquisitions of these confiscated bottles appropriately confiscated?
Well, okay, so here's the one thing. The first thing that popped in my head is civil asset forfeiture, which is a program that police departments use, and where if there's
dirty cops,
drug-related money or assets, like if they go to your house and they're there for thinking that there's a drug crime, they can seize your cash, your car, your home in some instances. And a lot of times, and they keep it, even if many times you're found not guilty. They have already seized the assets, and that goes into the general fund of like the police departments. It's supposed to be used for like welfare programs, but there's a lot of corruption out there. It's specifically in Kentucky. There's it was a podcast story and news articles about a local constable in Pulaski County, Kentucky, that was using civil asset forfeiture to enrich himself. And he was the constable's department, which is a Kentucky constitutional office. Like you run for constable, but there's no budget to it like a sheriff's department. So he was doing this. He was doing this and literally keeping the money from, he would listen on the radio, and when he'd hear a drug-related call, he'd get there first, do civil asset forfeiture, take the money, and enrich his office. He's in federal prison now because he was sometimes planning drugs, sometimes doing things.
Well, yeah,
he knew
if
where
you're in a car looking at it, you'd be like, man, I really want that.
It was very sketchy.
Just throw some.
So that's the first thing that popped in my head. It's like, okay, now they're expanding civil asset forfeiture light to alcohol-related things. I have a feeling, based off this and the stuff I've read, I haven't seen directly if they're telling you where these individual bottles came from. We know there was that high-profile case with Justin's House of Bourbon, where they seized a bunch of bottles. I don't know the end result of that. I think they did.
I think that's resolved. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, like, I don't know what happened to those bottles. But this does say in the law that they can auction off the impounded alcohol once the criminal or administrative case has been completed. So that at least is like a step away from civil asset forfeiture, where the adjudication has to happen and you actually have to have, I think, been convicted of whatever why they were impounding the alcohol for them to do this. Yeah. But it's still, it seems like you're supercharging the ABC to now hunt down and try to go after even like bourbon groups so they can confiscate it and sell these off. Now, they say that the proceeds go to the Aware Corporation, but this is a bureaucracy at this point. My goodness.
Deep State Kentucky.
You think that, Deep Commonwealth is what we call it.
Oh, Deep Commonwealth.
Yeah.
That sounds not as scary.
I mean, the fact that they're doing this auction to raise this money, and
let me give the people what they want to hear. Let's say that I purchased from, let's just say it's like an international market, whatever. And I purchased that bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle 10-year, and it never comes. And I find out that the Kentucky government has seized that bottle, even though you legally purchased it somewhere in the ways it was a little muddy. Now they have that Old Rip Van Winkle 10-year. And Will, why don't you go ahead and tell us about those auction bids happening right now?
And we'll get to that in a second.
It doesn't look shady at all.
There's some other things that were in this law that I did want to bring up, because the vintage distilled spirits law, the VDS law, which sounds like a venereal disease law, which, I mean, at this point with this auction, it could be getting there. But I mean, this was kind of the thing that was making Kentucky special, is they kind of paved the way forward of vintage spirits being able to legally be transacted within the state. They did put in some more guidelines, such as that it codified administrative regulations, so that the ABC put forward, such as there has to be a visible sticker that indicates the bottle is VDS. A VDS purchase is limited to 24 bottles from a single individual in a 12-month period.
Okay, so if that's like, let's just say there's a whiskey store and you take your bottles to them under this new law, you were able to do that. They can, verify whatever.
Yeah.
They can purchase those bottles,
but they can only
sell. You can't sell more than
24 total in a year to someone who's going to then be a seller. Now, once again, I said those were administrative regulations. Now they're in the state code. VDS licensees are required to file a report at least monthly with the ABC. And no VDS may be sold before the purchase is reported. So you can't just be moving bottles. Anyhow, a lot of things aren't that big of a deal, but and there's a supplemental license of $300 annually for any retail licensee who wishes to buy or sell vintage distilled spirits. So they're going to slap you with an extra license besides your liquor license.
Right.
Come on, Kentucky.
And when you file that license, now you're on the government's go and grab their bottles list.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems ripe for corruption.
Oh,
the whole thing.
You don't say corruption much. In fact, I've tried to say corruption like 10 times today.
No, you wanted to just straight up say it's corrupt. I just said it's ripe for corruption.
Okay.
I'm giving a step back, giving a tiny hint of a benefit of the doubt here, but I don't know, because
so what you know about government agencies.
Yeah. Typically they screw things up pretty good.
you know, there's some bad actors, some bad apples out there that'll just do these horribly wrong.
So I said it's ripe for corruption, but now let's get into Exhibit B of this current auction.
Before we say this, Will, this was not on our radar as far as like this is abnormal.
My dad sent me the article over Thanksgiving,
right?
And I was like, "Come again?"
Yeah.
And
then Will decided to sign up and to dive in. Yeah. And here is what Will found.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there's some actually pretty run of the mill bottles have been confiscated. But here's some of the current bids. This isn't like starting bid that the ABC's like, let's see what we can do. These are current bids, and some of these defy logic. So let's start with the old Rips. There's 2 old Rip Van Winkles, you know, the 10-year Van Winkle product. One is,
I could go get one in my neighborhood for like $800.
Yeah, and then I'll tell them where you are, and they'll confiscate it from Kentucky, long arm of the law, take it back there, auction it off. Because one current bid for an old Rip Van Winkle, $10,000.
Okay, is this all right? Is someone all right? So here's the deal: that money, someone said, "I'm willing to pay $10,000 for an old Rip Van Winkle." Okay, let's just say that he has more funds than normal. Like on what
he could walk into many liquor stores in Kentucky, purchase it legally. I mean, this is legally, but like not outside the law by going to like a Facebook group or something like that. But go into a liquor store that has it completely jacked up price and get it for 1/10 of that and still be overpaying, but doesn't have to bid on it. And to get these bottles, they don't ship them. You got to go pick them up.
You got to go to Kentucky.
In Frankfort, Kentucky, and you only have 48 hours between when it's open to go pick it up. And if you don't pick it up, you lose your money, and they put it in the next offer.
100% they do. 100. It's like man. Bid FTA, man. Have you ever hit that up online?
So now there is an old Rip that has a damaged label.
100%.
And it notes that.
Yeah.
It's going for $3,310. So, you know, it's a bargain comparatively. You're getting $6,600 off for that damaged label, but still, it's old Rip 10. Who's bidding this up?
Yeah.
There's more, though.
Is it Aware? Is the Aware the company that or the government organizations that's taking this money and using it for their...
The ABC will be giving it to Aware.
Yeah. So...
They clearly aren't aware of current secondary pricing, I'll tell you that.
No, they have no idea. So they're either corrupt or stupid. Or
whoever's... Okay, well, we'll get into that. First, let's go. You say what you want to say. Yeah. I'll go through some of the other prices, and then we'll give more thoughts.
Let me ask this. It's coming at the end of the year. Is purchasing those bottles, could it potentially be like a government donation?
I don't think so, because it's not a nonprofit. It's a government agency.
Yeah,
the money goes to the ABC, who then gives it to the Aware Corporation.
See, I think they should give the money to the people, man.
But okay,
distribution of wealth.
A few other ones of note here. Let's see. Okay, a special Weller Special Reserve handle for $500. Four Roses. Here's also why it doesn't make sense. 2011 Four Roses Small Batch LE.
Freaking great.
$700.
$700. You buy that
to the $10,000 for the old Rip 10. Yeah. $700.
Now here's the deal. These are just winning bids currently.
It could go for more. You're right. You have until December 11th. Let me pull up this one, because this one really got me. This one before. Then there is the magnum opus where that's Exhibit
yeah.
C.
We're getting to the bridge.
So there's 3 Blantons on the site. There's technically 4. There's a Blanton's Gold export to Japan. Not going to talk about that one. Blanton's single barrel from 2019.
Yep.
Just normal Blanton single barrel, more of a 5 years old. $625.
Yeah.
That one, I was like, okay,
maybe.
I could see someone who's like, I can get me a Blanton's from 5 years ago, and that could way overpay. Still way overpaying.
I needed to make it look like I was into Blanton's a long time ago.
Right. Now here's where the bidding makes 0 sense unless there's some inside information,
there's some
money laundering, maybe some corruption.
You said it?
I said maybe. These are hypotheticals.
Okay.
Alleged.
Okay.
Okay, but no, listen to this one. This year, 2024 Blanton's with an L bottle stopper, mind you. The L must be better because the A bottle stopper on the 2019 for $625. For the 2024, $5,550 is the current bid.
$5,500. $550.
Current bid, not some stupid starting bid that no one's going to pay. That has been bid up to $5,500.
It's not even picked by Dave Ramsey like mine is.
Okay, but no, talk about a barrel pick. Oh, okay. They've got one of those also with the L bottle stopper. This is from OBC Kitchen. So very great establishment.
Great.
Wonder how they happened to snag this one. Maybe Justin's House of Bourbon? I don't know. But they've got it here. This is store pick, OBC Kitchen, L bottle stopper. $450. Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. No. We must get to the finale.
This is the grand finale. Let's do it now. There's plenty of other absurd
go on
pricing. There's a Maker's Breeder's Cup.
Signed by the jockey.
If you're like super into, he's the most winning Breeders' Cup jockey of all time.
If you're super into jockeys.
Yeah, like super into jockeys.
Yeah.
Like you wear like a jockey underwear all the time because you love jockey.
I just can't say no to short man.
Oh man, that's 27 grand. But I mean, at least maybe it's like there. I don't know what horse collecting culture is. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe he doesn't sign a lot of autographs because he's got tiny fingers. But this one.
Stable aged. It's stable aged.
This is Exhibit C, where something is amiss.
No, this is not. Will this firm foundationed? There's corruption.
Allegedly.
There not on my part. I'm saying.
Okay,
something.
This is a bidding on a lot of whiskey. Of spirits, rather. This is a stock your bar package.
Totally.
The ABC called it the stock your bar mixed spirits bid for the lot package.
Not stock in the store. We're stocking your bar.
Let me read to you which 8 bottles you get in this great deal from you can bid on right now on Kentucky's ABC website. A $7.50 of Quality House vodka. I think that's like an $8 bottle.
Okay, so that's not an adjective. That's what it's called.
That's the brand.
Quality House.
We've got, oh shoot, my picture cut off the top. Here we go. $7.50 of Quality House vodka. A $7.50 of Burnett's vodka. Also, like an $8 bottle of vodka. This is not high end. This isn't like that the 300 times distilled, I'm going to punch you in the face, Grease, bottle that they have at Buffalo Trace. A bottle of Jim Beam Vanilla. A bottle of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire. Purple Toad Wine. I assume that's a wine cooler. I hope it's something.
Honestly, this might be the thing that took it over the top.
Pink Vodka. Cruzan Coconut Rum, and Cruzan Banana Rum. Yeah. 8 bottles, stock your bar. I don't know what eclectic bar you're trying to build with this, but I'm pretty sure you could build this entire collection for under $200. The current bid, someone has bid this, $14,000. There is no words.
There's no
words.
Well, it's just not feasible. It's not even like how,
you know what?
I don't know what to say.
I'd be more happy if the damaged label Old Rip 10 for some reason was 14 grand.
Oh yeah, it could be like an error.
Less than $200 worth of crap spirits. It's not even a I mean, it's 3 vodkas, 2 of which are like literally $8 bottles, bottom shelf, rot gut vodka that, you know, the kids are trying to buy with fake IDs. Yeah. That's what they're, and it's going for $14,000. We don't condone that. I'm upset because this does not seem on the up and up.
No. So, Will, try to paint a picture for me in a way that makes sense. Do you have any idea?
I don't. And money laundering. We had a buddy in that was like, Is it a guy that just wants to be one of the first people that bought from this auction? I'm like, well, he's a dum-dum. There's plenty of other. The 1972 decanter of Old Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it's like $650.
It's under $1,000.
Yeah, it's like $650. I would totally get that.
It makes zero sense. One, why some of the prices for like the old rips are that high. And two, and unless because of that New York Times article, people that have way too much money, and even if they have way too much money, they could find that in a liquor store that has it overpriced. But they have way too much money in some random part of the country that has someone that's going to go pick it up for them. But the one that there is no logic to, makes no sense, is why that stock your bar pick has 8 bottles for $14,000, and not a single one of them is over $50. Yeah, I take that back. I don't know how much Purple Toad wine costs.
Or pink vodka.
If Purple Toad wine, and I'm missing out, and it's like maybe I should Google it. Maybe I should have done research.
Don't Google it.
I'm going to, because if it's like for some reason, like the rarest wine, it's $32,000 for a bottle. It comes from like, you have to ferment toads with it.
Heck of a way to say that with the word stock your bar bundle or whatever package.
Purple Toad Winery is Kentucky's best-selling family-owned winery. It's in Paducah.
Well, that's from their website.
Let's see how much. Best. They have a Christmas tree bottle.
Oh, yeah, okay. So just shop now.
Just hit
Shop now.
Best sellers.
Okay, best sellers.
$14.15.
$14.15
for the Black and Bruised wine.
So we're legitimately talking about
Paducah Harbor is actually a higher dollar. I take that back. It's $15.95.
Okay, so we're literally looking between $150 and $200 total price for this package, and it's going. Someone decided to bid $14,000. Either it's the end of the year and they think it's a tax write-off, stupidity. Whether they think they're getting like a limited edition bundle because everything else is limited edition and they think, oh, my wife likes vodka, this must be good. You're stupid. On the government side, like, I just can't imagine there's not some sort of what's it called?
Malfeasance?
Yeah. Is that an appropriate, softer term to use? Then
it just doesn't it doesn't pass the smell test. If you're nosing your bourbon, this is skunk. You're pouring this out. This is blended whiskey.
Yeah, this is
what we're looking at.
Sheep turd bundle.
Yeah. I want someone to start right now FOIA requests. Some journalist that's like, hey, something doesn't make sense. We need more transparency. This is a government website. We need to know who these winning bidders are. We need to know a little bit more about what's going on, because none of this makes sense in a logical, especially in this economy. You're paying $14,000 for Burnett's vodka. Mm-hmm. It makes me so upset.
Listen, I know we have attorneys that listen to us and maybe watch on YouTube. If you know how to do a FOIA, Will and I,
we're just too lazy to do it ourselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could totally do it for sure. But I mean, like, why? Like, you don't want to put yourself on the government watch list.
Yeah.
These guys are poking around. Like, you never want to be known as the guy poking around. You file a FOIA, it might as well be put you on the watch list. It's fine.
You guys, you want to bid on that right now? See if someone outbids us on the 14,000 one. See if someone outbids us. See if it's real or not.
I don't know.
You don't want to roll the dice on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm upset. I'm genuinely upset. I didn't like the concept of them doing this auction anyways. I know that the alternative is just the ABC guys maybe just, it disappears. I don't know. I'm not in their ABC clubhouse.
Kind of like our bottles at the Galt House in the green room for our VIPs. That was fun. Yeah,
those disappeared. It's beyond words that the pricing on these. There's, the market makes sense many times. And when there's high demand, prices may go up and people see it as a legal way to get it. But
that's what my thought was.
The disparity between some of the, like an Eagle Rare, a standard Eagle Rare is at $1,400 right now.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't make any sense, especially when ones like the I know Grease is gonna. He's like, how can I make myself a government agent?
If you need a bottle, halvesies.
Well, especially
half off.
when that Eagle Rare is $1,400, but the Four Roses small batch barrel strength from 2011, 13 years ago, is only at $700. It doesn't make any sense.
None of this checks out.
No.
I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about like people with a lot of money in New York. I could see that some of these people are. I want to make sure I'm getting these bottles under like a government supervised transaction. That's the only. Will I
know you're trying.
No, I wanted to give my only thought.
The thing is, except for
happened.
None of those are rare, and that's the one that's the kicker. The Stock Your Bar, none of them are rare. No, and once again, okay, we did research now on the Purple Toad wine or whatever it was. The pink vodka, I don't know about that one. Maybe that one's really special. I doubt it. None of these seem like they are rare or anything above just standard bottom shelf liquor.
I mean, guys, go to the website. This image.
Oh, the Quality House vodka is in a plastic flask bottle too. It's not even glass.
Dude, this looks like they hired a woman named like Shelly to just put these like in her kitchen and take a picture of these.
Pink vodka is caffeine and guarana infused.
Okay. Does that under the details, is it like 100 bottles of each?
No, under the details, it just shows the image of the bottles you're getting. One Burnett's, one Quality House, one Tennessee Fire, pink, Jim Beam vanilla. It's absurd. That's the one. I could get over the stupid pricing on the bourbon, but when you look at that, there's something awry about it, and there's no rye in that lot, so I don't know.
Speaking of constipation, what am I trying to confiscated? Speaking of confiscated,
oh, there you go. That was a good transition. Yeah. Speaking of confiscated, one thing we didn't see on the list was any products from Stoli. Neither vodka nor Kentucky Owl has been confiscated and put up for auction at this point, but some things may be going up for auction as Stoli Vodka is filing for bankruptcy in the United States. That's the vodka brand as well as the Kentucky Owl bourbon brand.
Kentucky Owl was keeping them afloat for so long.
I don't know. Company in its bankruptcy filing said it's experiencing financial difficulties, and it lists its liabilities anywhere between $50 million and $100 million. They have assets in $100 million to $500 million range. They're filing Chapter 11, so it's a restructuring. I could see potentially the bourbon brand being auctioned off or scaled back as they're trying to figure out their creditors' situation.
I might have texted Dixon saying, I will sell baked goods for as long as I need to for you to get that brand back.
We'll see what happens.
There's chatter out there.
Chapter 11 doesn't necessarily mean that they sell off a brand.
That's true.
It's a,
what about 13?
Oh, that's an unlucky number.
Chapter 13.
But it only pertains to their U.S. businesses. They blamed a cyber attack, which shut down operations. They're also,
you know what I'd blame?
They're also in a long lawsuit with the nation of Russia because Stoli was originally a Russian brand. The Russians fled to Luxembourg and took the brand with them. The Russians aren't too happy about that. They say it's still a Russian brand. So there's a long litigation, they say, that's draining their assets. But one thing I think is clear.
Well, you know when the transition happened, Will.
For whom?
Hashtag pyramids.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, so the one thing we're never going to see are the Great Pyramids of Kentucky, the ninth wonder of the modern world.
For those that don't know, there was a rendering that came out when
Kentucky Owl Park. It was Kentucky Owl Park.
Yeah, so Stoli purchased the brand Kentucky Owl from Dixon, and came up with a rendering of pyramids in the middle of the Kentucky landscape, and it was incredible. And Dixon,
glass
Dixon never commented on that.
No,
I tried. I
think there may have been some NDAs involved.
I mean, he might have under his breath.
Disparagement clauses, things of that nature. But it was going to be a beautiful park with water features and in glass pyramids.
Yeah, there's an article on Whiskey Advocate. I'll put it up on the screen for you now. But literally, it's absolutely absurd. Everybody was like, "This has Dixon jumped the shark?" And he's like, "No, man, it's the Russians."
Yeah, allegedly.
Alleged.
Let's see. It was a 420 acre parcel of land that they were going to build this on. I thought there was a price tag of how much they were expecting to spend on it, but I can't find it right now. But I think needless to say,
it's got to be like 150 mil.
I don't think anyone was expecting that to ever get built. Oh yeah, $150 million project. Nailed it. And construction was supposed to start in 2018 and be completed by 2020. This article was written in December of 2021. So once I think everyone knew it was never going to happen, but I think now we can close the book on Kentucky Owl Park, that will not be coming to a Bardstown near you anytime soon. So
that's the news, Will.
The news that you can use. Woo! That was some good, man. I got heated. I am so mad about that ABC program,
dude. It's bizarre.
I also think
it's insane.
I think it puts the focus then for because once again, there's got to be, even if it's not like incentivized for the agents on like you're getting bonuses if you are able to close these cases, but I feel like just the concept of it puts an incentive on going after the vintage distilled spirits law, which it's like, well, if you're going to make it such a dangerous, precarious process that I honestly think is probably a harmless process. People could argue that with me, but why then all of a sudden make this whole thing? It just seems like a big ruse.
Yeah.
That they're trying so hard to go after this and confiscate these bottles and sell them themselves.
Was this the play for Kentucky government to usher in the vintage spirits law, make it vague, make it ups and downs, hard to move around, so that if anybody messes up, we can seize those things and sell them?
First of all, I think the VDS started off as regulations by the ABC. And then it got codified later. Much of this, like I said, was saying these were already the administrative rules. However, now it's being codified into law. I don't know. I don't know what their legislators or their administrative state were thinking, but it just seems now more of a headache, and it's going to discourage what could have been a vibrant, unique thing that Kentucky had to offer. And instead it's just going to end up, I think, getting panned in the long run. I think it's going to end up being a failed program personally, but hey, they raised a lot of money for Aware on this first auction. Can't wait to see in the future when they get some Captain Nelson's rum that goes for 38 grand. Can't wait. Vintage. That's 2013.
Not off the table.
2013 Captain.
Historical data says that's not off the table, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. All right, Will.
You would go to 15?
I would love to, because I know you went shopping and you're very excited.
I am.
Hit the music.
And we're back from the 15.
We didn't leave. We were right here the whole time. And I cut it because Will took his shirt off and he got real upset about the deep state.
I was.
He's got a deep state tattoo on there.
It says where we go one, we go all, or something like that. I don't know what it means, but it's a thing.
It's a little more sexual than that, for sure.
All right. So I went to the store tonight, and I want to preface this by saying it was a very nostalgic night for me at the store.
I don't like where it's headed.
So I went through the store and I saw things just sitting on the shelf with plenty of them that were just sitting there. and it made me feel like it was 2016 again. There was a whole row of Henry McKenna, a whole row of Sazerac rye. There was just things that haven't, Blanton's
Was just out.
things were on the shelf that have not been on a shelf in a long time. And then I got to the register and I picked up a few things. I actually picked up something for the 15 that we'll do next week, because at the register, I looked behind the counter and I saw something that I have not seen in years. And I said, how much is that bottle? And he told me the price. And I said, I will take that. And I bought it. And this is a limited release. This is a limited release that doesn't happen all the time. It's not a guaranteed annual release.
Okay.
But this is this year's Abraham.
Whoa! Whoa! Abraham?
A. Smith Bowman, Virginia Straight Bourbon Whiskey, cast strength. This is batch number 3, 135.1 proof, 9 years old.
Holy crap. The last Abraham Bowman I had was the Merlot finished that came in the 375s.
Yep.
It was a gorgeous whiskey.
There was also like a gingerbread one that we've had that was really good.
Yeah.
They've had some cast strengths before, but this is the A. Smith Bowman, is the Bowman Brothers line that is like their special release. And it wasn't every year they didn't have one. They had them many years. But
yeah, they took a long time.
it was a long time off. So I haven't seen an A. Smith Bowman in forever. I haven't seen a lot of Bowman Brothers or John J. Bowman around in a long time.
I got a John J, I think.
That's a John J. single barrel.
Yeah, single
which
barrel.
is great. And if you don't know about the Bowman Brothers Distillery, it's owned by Sazerac. It's in Virginia. And what they do is Buffalo Trace sends White Dog, new make, to Virginia. They run it through a still one more time, which doesn't really do much to anything.
I don't know why they do that.
Well, so that they can say it was distilled in Virginia.
Why wouldn't they want it to say distilled in Kentucky?
Because it is a Virginia straight bourbon whiskey. And so that's where the A. Smith Bowman,
It's a hot commodity.
and then they age it there. So it's in Spotsylvania County, Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Oh dang, dude! You got Virginia straight bourbon whiskey.
So that's a little bit of the story behind the Bowman Brothers line. If you see the Bowman Brothers, the normal, I think it's 90 proof. John J. Bowman, which is the single barrel, is that 100 proof? I think it's 100 proof.
Yeah, it is 100 proof, sir.
Yeah, so the single barrel is 100 proof, and this is a cast strength. They have the Isaac Bowman, which is a port finish, and those are ones
sat on the shelf.
Those you can see though. That's not a it's not a limited release. Those exist.
I mean, they wanted it to be, but
this is something new for us to try.
This is awesome. I when I saw Abraham Bowman stuff starting to come out in the reviews and stuff, I figured, you know what, I'm not gonna go and try to find it. Really,
I didn't think I would see this.
Right.
I was sitting in a local shop behind the counter, and I picked it up.
Retail?
It was Tennessee retail. Sometimes Tennessee's a little bit higher. It was
10-20% up.
I think the retail is $99. I paid $120.
Okay, yeah, 20%.
When he told me the price, I didn't even know retail, and I just said, "Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable for this." So, nose smells great. It smells like.
I'm getting like a coffee.
Stag Junior. I mean, it's got some of that in it. Maybe a Blanton straight from the barrel. It's 135 proof. It's not.
The finish is awesome. The finish is awesome. It's not astringent. It's light, but it's also.
Oh yeah, I definitely get coffee.
Yeah, I get the coffee note.
Oh,
Which I don't get on Buffalo Trace stuff
oh wow,
most of the time.
that's good.
It's hands down good. It's how old is it? Do we know?
9 years. It's almost perfect.
Yeah, so it's
It doesn't drink.
It's a cask strength Buffalo Trace.
cast strength Buffalo Trace, which would be like Stag Junior at that age, or maybe a Blanton straight from the barrel. I'm not sure which mash bill they sent. I think it's BT1, which would be Buffalo Trace, not BT2. I assume it's BT.
Well, also Buffalo Trace too is typically around 7 to 9 years ish.
Well, that's I was saying. Stag Junior.
It's aged more than Blanton.
Stag Junior is essentially cast strength Buffalo Trace because it's 8 or 9 years old.
The BT1.
Yeah.
That's an expensive bottle of Stag.
I think that's about what you're paying these days.
Well, that sucks.
I
own Stag Juniors because, and I'm not getting rid of them. I want to look at the Junior because I need to explain to everybody.
This is not Stag Junior.
That's not Stag. Okay. Stag, whole nother ball game.
Mm-hmm. George Tate.
Yeah. The old George Tate.
I really like this.
This is really great. This has no air either. And it's soft.
It's soft. It's for 135.1 proof. You could have told me it was 115. Oh, and I would have been like, yeah.
Maybe 100.
No, I get a little bit more burn than that. I don't. Well, you're dead on
my esophagus. My esophagus does look, like a hurricane.
Oh man, I really like it. Really good, rich flavors, chocolate, coffee. The finish is like you said. There's no
little dark cherry in there.
There's
with
no
coffee.
gut punch of
chocolate.
of alcohol.
There's no hug.
And the finish just lingers with the, kind of those rich, earthy, chocolatey notes.
They don't hug in Virginia, so that's why this one's not hugging.
Oh, but Virginia's for lovers.
I don't.
Slogan.
That's a different kind of hug, bro.
Well, now that you mention it, this may be more like that hug.
I see what you did.
It's a little intimate.
I like it.
It's a little intimate.
I like it.
I like it.
We should get Virginia whiskey matching tattoos. Nope. Okay.
Okay, I will. What do you think when we go to buy bar pass on this?
Man, okay, so if I saw this for $120, it is a buy for me. Yeah. Can I justify a $120 bottle of whiskey? Most of the time, not. Mm-hmm. This is special. It's very nice. It's crushable. If you need a bottle to get you in trouble, this one's probably it.
I think it could.
This is a 100% buy for me at $120.
Yeah, well, and especially if you find it at 99, which is what the SRP is, I think it's a no-brainer.
Right.
If you can find it for $100, because I don't think Stag Junior is much less than that these days. I think it's $80 retail.
Dude, you pour this for any whiskey connoisseur and they'll be like, whoa, what is this? That's how it tastes.
I like that it's A. Smith Bowman. It's a brand that I haven't seen in years, much less given a lot of thought about in years, because it's just not out there. Hopefully, this means that of allocated bottles, the fact I was able to walk in, it was on a shelf, and it was close to retail. Hopefully, that means they're out there. And so if you know to start looking for it, and you aren't someone that can, wait in a mile-long line or spend $50,000 at a store in a year just to get a midwinter's from your local shop, then maybe this is what you look for, because it is an allocated bottle. I haven't even heard a ton about it, so maybe that's good that there's not a lot of buzz. But I would say go look for this, because it could be something you're able to get your hands on. Then at the next bottle share or something, you're able to pull out something that's unique, a little bit different. If you can find it for $100 to $120, it's definitely a buy. If someone's gouging it and saying $200, $300, whatever, walk away.
Kick rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Go get you find a Stag for $150.
But this makes me real happy, and I'm hoping that they've had to, they've recalibrated and they've really put focus on this, and this is something that's going to be coming back. I'd love to see A. Smith Bowman being a quarterly thing. If they did a cast drink like this and kind of did it like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof,
interesting.
That would be a really fun program that is something I would look out for. I like the flavor profile of the cast drink Buffalo Traces a little bit more than I do the Heaven Hills. I still love Elijah Craig, but they're a little bit more guttural. I guess I'm a little bit of a weaker man. So I need something that's has a little bit more finesse to it. And I think that this bottle does. I would love for this to be a 3 times a year, 4 times a year cast strength release and forego even the experimental stuff. Like just go for this. I would be very pleased with that.
So with this being a 9-year-old product, when we started the podcast about almost 9 years ago now, coming up on 9 years, the bourbon boom wasn't in full on crazy mode, right? We saw there be a progression in people's interest for sure, but it wasn't camping out at places. It wasn't doing all this stuff. Things were readily available, except, around the fall, obviously when Pappy's coming in. Pappy was always been sought after. And so we saw that. But I'm interested to see what the forecasting of product that Buffalo Trace ended up doing to send New Make to Virginia, if there was a more, extensive release or more product that would basically say, yeah, we're going to start seeing a 9-year-old allocated bourbon.
Yeah. Well,
actually attainable.
I think, it's probably the leadership at the distillery because it's not like Harlan Wheatley is the master distiller for the A. Smith Bowman distillery. They're making their own decisions on product and putting it out. I imagine that they were keeping reserves back to age up to make into this stuff. But if you think about it, we've been doing this about 8.5 years. That means this was put into a barrel about 6 months, maybe a little bit, anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half before we started doing our show. Mm-hmm. So this is a pretty cool
those
tribute.
barrels were about 7 months pregnant when we hopped in.
Anywhere from 6 months to full term. Is the way I'd look at it because, we don't know what season the young, but still pretty close to, if it was a January when they put it in the bottle, in the barrel rather.
Yeah.
Then that would be close to a year and a half until when we started our show.
I got it. Yeah, I like that.
But this was 2015 is when they put these in barrels. That's kind of a cool thing that didn't even think about when I picked it up is that now we've been doing this show long enough that we can be drinking limited releases and stuff,
cool.
Higher age stuff that it's next year, it'll be this was put in the barrel when we started the show.
Yeah, that would be, we never did that. We never got a barrel and started putting things in it and, and aging it up. New Make, our whatever, customized New Make mash bill, whatever. We had thought about doing that, but thinking about something coming to age 9 years later, you just don't, you're just we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And now it's here. It's crazy.
We should look, we have, 6 months. We should look for a Blanton's with the dump date of when our first episode came out.
Cinco de Mayo.
2016. And then, or something similar to that we, even if it's May of 2016, that we could do a big, I guess 10 year would be the better special, but 9-year special, drinking something, that'd be cool. But I don't know.
Well,
that's it.
So we just find the dump date and then we hold on to it whenever we want to do the special.
That's fair.
What dump date?
Yeah, so that means we have a year and a half.
Cinco de Mayo, okay?
2016.
2016.
That's May 5th for those of you that don't speak Spanish.
Feliz Navidad, baby.
Yeah. All right, man.
We did it, Will.
That was a good episode. Hope you enjoyed it there at home. And if you want to hang out with us, we're about to go do a town hall. So you should join our Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcast. You can hang out with us. You can support the show. We have a really extensive newsroom where we have editorial process. We have editors. We have interns. We pay these interns to go out and report on stories so we can do the news up top. It's a very expensive process.
100%.
If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/thepodcast. And at the town hall level or the virtual barn night level, you can hang out with us on Zoom calls. We drink, we tell stories. He gets inappropriate. I get embarrassed. I go home. That's about
You do get sassy.
But check that out. And the only real difference is that the virtual barn nights are a little bit smaller, but they happen they also get town hall. So you get more hangouts with us if you're virtual barn night. If you just want to dip your toe in, go to town hall. And
we got some fun information coming out for our patrons soon.
That's right. We're going to let them know first, but you'll know next week about something really cool happening in the first quarter of 2025. All right, folks, thank you so much. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. We don't know jack,
but we'll drink it.